Welcome into the Main Event Broadcasting Network. I'm Danielle Jenkins, Assistant Director of Athletic Communications, and joining me today is Head Cross Country and Track and Field Coach Jeff Jenkins to discuss the upcoming 2016 track and field season. Coach, thanks for joining us here on the Main Event Broadcasting Network. We certainly appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
We know it's an exciting but busy time as the season is quickly approaching, starting at the end of this week. It's busy because there's lots of kids out there. The recruiting has been a big part of this season, as it is the first full-fledged track and field season, with that program being brought back with your addition on staff a year and a half ago. Tell us about some of the differences we'll see from last year's team to just this season.
It's a world of difference. A 500% increase, over a 500% increase in the roster size. Which isn't saying much, being that we finished the season with 2 guys last year. But with the recruiting aspect, we did bring in a lot of newcomers, and now we're feeling a little bit more depth in the other track and field events. This program, historically over the past 15 or 20 years, has been a cross-country program that ran distance in track and field. And while we're holding on to that distance and middle distance aspect, now we have throwers and jumpers and sprinters and pole vaulters and all the other events that truly make up a track and field team.
Well, with all the event groups that you just mentioned, I know that makes for a busy schedule. Tell us about what a typical week or day-to-day operation looks like for you guys as far as scheduling practices.
It's a lot different than maybe a ball sport. Most sports, you know what time you practice. You practice at this time today, and sometimes 2-a-days may be occurring. But for us, for the coaches specifically, we're at practice 7 days a week, and on average, probably 5 to 6 hours of our day is practices. So 4 days of the week, not for all of our athletes, but for specific event groups, 4 days of the coaches' week, we have morning practice. Those usually go from about 6:30 to about 8 o'clock. Those are the conditioning type things. And then in the afternoon, beginning at 1 o'clock on most days, is when we start each of the different event groups. And we start with a couple of different field event groups, the pole vault, the throws, things like that. And then as the day goes on, we start rotating in the sprinters and the middle distance runners and the distance runners, and some of them are separated by gender even. So the days are pretty long. We could be out there for any time from 1 to 6 p.m.
Now, you mentioned going to practice. Tell us about where it is that you're going in the training facility that you guys utilize. Yeah,
Wilbanks, we're in a great partnership there. The facility is working great for us. Right now, we're the only people practicing on it, so that's great. The throws facility, for example, is a multi-directional ring so that we can throw in either direction. Oftentimes wind plays a factor in whether or not what direction we're going to throw in, what we're going to do that particular day. And sometimes you want to be prepared for regardless of what way the wind's going. You want to throw into a headwind some, you want to throw into a tailwind some, and even a crosswind. The pole vault facility is great. The runway is still in great shape. The pole vault mat is brand new. The standards are brand new. We have bungees and crossbars that are in great shape. So all of that stuff is working out great for us in a practice facility.
Now, of course, the season begins this upcoming weekend with a trip to Appalachian State, one of 3 indoor meets on the schedule this year. What are you looking for, and what are your expectations from this meet, with it being the first collegiate competition for some of these athletes? I
would think of this meet as something like an exhibition game. It's a game where we're going against competition, very stiff competition, Division I competition, Division II competition. NAI will be the only Division III school there, I imagine. It looks that way as of now. But it is a good opportunity for us to just go and see what we can do there. And the good thing with track and field is you can always measure against yourself. You can see what you've done before. But there's things like, in the pole vault, for example, the starting height is close to where our guy's PR is. So, I mean, it's going to be a really good measuring stick for us to be able to see how we can do there.
Of course, Appalachian State, you've also got a trip to South Carolina coming up, but you've also got a really tough competition coming up in the indoor schedule against Division III Sewanee, going and seeing some good competition there at your level, Division III. What does that meet specifically present for your team?
Well, we measure ourselves a lot against schools in the SAA. They sponsor the sport of track and field, and we know that they're going to be generally about the same level playing field as where we want to be in the next year or so as we develop our depth and as recruiting continues. So that is a big opportunity for us to go and might have the opportunity to win some events, or the opportunity to compete very highly against those other Division III programs.
Of course, the outdoor opener comes on March 5th against in-state competition Berry on the road over at the Vikings home. That is going to be another competition against Division III schools, and also coming at a great facility.
Yeah, Berry just added their new track and field and football facility, as they're adding both of those sports. And I'm excited to just go and again see that SAA competition, that Division III competition, and get a good measure for the start of our outdoor season now that the track and field athletes have been preparing now for 8 or 9 months. So the cross-country athletes coming off their season, they've been training as well. So it's exciting to just try to get that measurement, and then also to get out on a 400-meter track, where the indoor tracks are usually going to be 300 or 200 meters.
Of course, with this being the first full-fledged track and field season, what are you looking for? What are your expectations and goals for 2016?
Well, there's besides the national championships, there's not really a championship for us right now. The good thing is we aren't by nature a team sport. We do want to see ourselves as an individual team sport, so the individuals contribute just what they can to the team score, obviously. And you do have relays and things like that, so there is some team component. But I would really like to see our athletes continue to improve on their marks. But also, again, we keep talking about the SAA. I want to see us, at least across the board, being able to see us be competitive, so that when the USA South adds track and field, or when we determine what kind of championship we want to compete for, that we can do that. The eventual goal, of course, is to get people to qualify for the national championships. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility this year. It's certainly going to be a major challenge for us to do something like that, but it's something looking ahead to the future that these freshmen right now can look to do in their career.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to it. We wish you guys the best of luck this season.
Thanks.
Once again, thanks for joining us today on the Main Event Broadcasting Network as we sat down with head cross country and track and field coach Jeff Jenkins to discuss the upcoming 2016 track and field season. The season opens this weekend on the road at Appalachian State on Friday and Saturday. I'm Danielle Jenkins, Assistant Director of Athletic Communications, and we'll see you next time.